Hello, this is Greg Allison with Green Greg's coming to you on the 18th of July 21. Time on deck, 17:02 hours Central Daylight Time. Not since the overthrow of the Batista government by Fidel Castro has Cuba had protests like they're having right now. I kind of figured for a long time that when the Castros passed from power that we would see changes in Cuba. Specifically, I figured Cuba would go for freedom. Cuba would become a democratic government and would join the republics of the Western world. Now, what's happened here is that they have a new, not only just president, Díaz-Canel became the president of Cuba in 2019, but that's not the most powerful position in Cuba. Raul Castro maintained until April of this year. In fact, on 19 April, Díaz-Canel also became the first secretary of the Communist Party. That's where the real power is. And since then, we have seen the protests really kicking up in Cuba. In fact, they've been going on for into the 8th day now, since Sunday of last week, and they're still going on, and they've spread. When the Soviet Union fell, there were major protests in Havana, but Fidel quickly quelled those, and it was just one city. Now there have been over 25 protests going on at one time within Cuba itself across many cities, large and small, and even protests in support of them in Miami. And the people there are chanting freedom. They want freedom. They want liberty. And indeed, right now, Cuba's economy is down. They've had 11% decrease in their GDP. But some American Cubans are saying that's not it. They're really wanting freedom. And the time is right with the passing of the Castros. Now, the people in Cuba did not like the repressive systems, but the Castros did have a certain air about them, a certain charisma, that they were able to use that to stay in power. I've often said to people that, organizations matter, but it's really the individuals and organizations that carry the water and make them achieve whatever they achieve, greatness or otherwise. So we're going to go all into this. And why does it matter to us? Well, it's good news in the sense that we may have a free nation to our south that may be more in line with us, and we may get along with in the not too distant future. Also, freedom is always an important thing. I promote freedom in here. We'll talk a little bit about that in this video. And I will do a follow-up video probably, maybe tomorrow. I might do it now after this one and then post it tomorrow or later in the week about the challenges of socialism. Why it may not be the solution you're looking for for some of the young people in this country. All right, so if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, bang the notification bell, and click all. And also check out my many videos I've got on this channel, because I cover all kind of topics in the realm of things that you may have to keep an eye out for. I talk about keeping your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. And right now there's tons of those. And also I challenge you to get ready for hard times. This is good news, my friends. The power grid, with the sun, things going on. The international tensions right now with China are off the charts, and they seem to be getting worse. I would highly encourage you guys to consider prepping and getting ready for that. One of the best preps you can do is actually grow your own food. So start your garden. I got videos on gardening. Check the links below to True Leaf Market. Great deals there. We can get non-GMO seeds. So, all right, let's get into this. Let's get all into this, guys. We're going to do some shares. I'm going to go through some articles here real fast, just to give you a snapshot of what's going on in the world. That's our Freedom Restoration Foundation. I'll come back to that toward the end here. Let me blow this up. I'm trying to make this not a long video here today. And I got another video I'm going to try to send out today talking about the sun. Okay, guys? Freedom. Thousands of Cubans take the streets to demand the end of dictatorship. What about that? And yeah, they're overturning cars, police cars. Now, in Cuba's tight society, that's something that would not have been permitted before. And they're talking about other things, people reacting to the crises of the Mexican beer bug, as we like to call it sometimes. And yes, from Malecon, Havana's famous seawall, to cities all across Cuba. They're chanting freedom. Down with communism. They don't want communism. They're tired of it. And they're saying, we're not afraid. We are not afraid. See, before they couldn't get away with this, but the society is just it's lost a grip on them. They're everywhere. There's such numbers. The government has arrested hundreds, but there's so many thousands of them. It's just like a drop in a bucket. So look at this. Several cities, 25 protests in different locations throughout the island of Cuba. This includes the biggest cities, smaller cities, all over Cuba. Images circulating on the social media. Now they're apparently trying to shut down social media now. Angry crowds overturn police cars seen in the country. Yeah. So here they're talking about that happened under Castro in Havana in 1994. It didn't last long. See, the Cuban leader quickly turned the demonstrations into a massive exodus after he opened up Cuba's maritime borders. So basically, what Castro would do, say, oh, you don't like it, you're having problems, hop on a boat and go to Florida. So several times there was a various boat lifts where Castro just let people go and they fled to the United States. And that's why we have such a thriving Cuban community in Florida. And a couple of our U.S. senators are descended from people who fled communist Cuba. And let's say they're not exactly fans of communism. And in fact, you'll find very few fans of communism in that part of Florida also. They are very patriotic, freedom-loving people, the Cuban people who managed to get out of the grips of communism. And they're very, very resourceful people. You got to admire the things that those people accomplish. But like I tell you, there's good people everywhere in the world. Everywhere you go in the world, no matter what race, color, creed, nationality, there's good people. There's bad people everywhere in the world too. Nobody's got a monopoly on good or bad. That's just the way people are. The yin and yang of it. So let's look at this. Yes, so they're wanting to end hunger too. That may be part of it, but let's see. Yeah, they're actually saying down with the díaz-canel, down with him. So they never said exactly said down with Fidel too much, but definitely down with the Castros. But they're not up for díaz-canel. Of course, he's bringing a protest on the United States embargo. But American Cubans say, hey, these guys are looking for freedom. You can see some of the hey, this is families out protesting. See, you can see women, children, all out in the streets. Well, I read her shirt, it says Supreme. It's amazing how many times you can see recognizable words and people wearing in foreign countries. We're not going to hand over, this is the canal talking here. We're not going to hand over the sovereignty of our independence to the people. He's basically saying we're not going to hand over the United States. Well, it's not the United States want to rule Cuba. Now, Cuba is struggling to control transmission of the bug and other things. Let's go to a couple of articles. This is the Independent. What's happening in Cuba and why is it happening now? There's another protest. It's Cuba's Capitol building, which is modeled after a Capitol building here in the United States. I think there's a diamond set in the floor there, if I recall right. That's how the Cuban flag looks a lot like the Puerto Rican flag, except the stripes are blue for Cuba and red for Puerto Rico. Pro-democracy protests have erupted in Cuba, perhaps the biggest in 3 decades. Yeah, I'd say bigger than that. So, and they've gone on. So these protests are enduring. So talk again here about the 1994 protest when they lost the oil-based fertilizers in Moscow because Moscow fell. And so Cuba started growing their own stuff organically. Well, there's a silver lining of that. Cuba did have a kind of a revolution of local organic gardens because they wasn't getting petroleum-based stuff. And they've done pretty well with that, but it wasn't enough to really make up for everything. So first time in 6 decades, neither Fidel Castro died in 2016 or his brother Raul are running the country of 11 million people. Raul Castro, 90, announcing April that he was standing down as first secretary of the Communist Party. So that's what I said. That's the important position in Cuba. Not the presidency, it's first secretary of the Communist Party. In the communist country, the Communist Party is a government. All this other stuff is just window dressing. And talk about U.S. sanctions here. So I'm not involved in all that stuff, but here we go. I'll picture Castro up there. People are tired of being hungry. People want to know what's going on. Well, no kidding. That's always the case. Let's go to another article here. Bang. And Cuba's president confronts the national in the crisis. Of course, everybody says he's no Fidel, and there he is. So when he went out in the streets, so when Castro went in the streets after the Havana protest, people showed up and said, "Viva Fidel Castro." But when this guy went up in the streets, they're cursing him. Big difference. Freedom crowd shouting out, but they're shouting down with Fidel now. Oh, that was the '94 protest. But when Fidel showed up, apparently they had actually a change of tune, but that could have been staged because he was. Fidel was a master communicator, among other things. He had a lot of charisma. He knew how to play people and play the system. He had a talent for that. Like him or love him or hate him, he did have a certain talent. Master. So he was he's reverend liberator, feared tyrant, and master propagandist. Yeah, that's that master propagandist side of Fidel. There it goes, right there, right below where I was looking for. And it says, moments after the police quelled, of course, this is after the police quelled the 1994 protest, Castro stepped out from a Jeep onto the Malecon, which is the old wall there in historic wall there in Havana. According to news reports from the time, almost magically a group of supporters showed up shouting "Viva Fidel" for their party members. But it's quite different than what díaz-canel is running into now. And this is that Freedom Monument in Florida, Miami, I guess, or close to there. And you see the American flag. So there's pro-Cuban protests there also for freedom. So we're talking about how, let's go through here. Here is díaz-canel, and this is Raul Castro lifting his hand up when this guy became president, but he was still really in charge as first secretary of the Communist Party. You see, our American media talks about his position as being president. Those that know would refer to his position in the party, because that's what really matters in the communist country. So we can see these things. So let's come over to another article. Shoot it down a little bit where I can grab it. This is where it's about freedom. Cuban Americans say shortages don't explain the protests. They've had shortages for a long time. People hold Cuban flags and supported Cuban demonstrators against their government. And this is in Florida, guys. This is in Florida. These are Cuban Americans who are supporting the people in their homeland, which they come from. Of course, the United States is their homeland too now, right? So this talks about that. For the first time in 62 years, they're risking their lives from one end of the island to the other to demand accountability of the regime. Carmen Palez, I hope I said it right, a Cuban-American filmmaker and Democratic supporter, a political consultant, said, "I'm anti-embargo, but it's not about the embargo." So this is a Democrat here in the United States. That's not what this fight's about. It's about freedom. We all agree. Libertad. So there you are. People in Cuba, like people everywhere in the world, want freedom. And you can see this is still going on. This article here is from today. It's posted a little earlier today. Massive crowds protest outside Freedom Tower in downtown Miami, calling for Cuban freedom. And the protests are still in Cuba right now. So there we are. Here's Miguel Díaz-Canel. Fairly sporty looking chap there, eh? But not popular. Nope, not popular at all. And you can look them up on Wikipedia. First secretary, here's this tells you all. They got it right on Wikipedia. What's the top position they got him as? First secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba. You got to go down a little bit to discover he's also president of Cuba. So there you are, my friends. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, Raul Castro was president of Cuba and the first secretary of the Communist Party. He relinquished the presidency back in 2018, but did not relinquish the I can't talk today, the position of first secretary until 19 April this year, and that's when everything changed, and it's been going downhill. I expect, but we'll see some big changes here. Hang on, guys. I won't talk to you out in open now. while I got this open, I just want to show you guys our freedoms have never been more at risk. This is our freedom restoration website. Go to freedomrestorationfoundation.org. You can go through here. We do things like talk about urgent actions to take. We got certain political things going on. We'll post more on that in the future. We need to update some of these, put some new alerts out. So we put alerts out for people. These alerts go into great detail of actions you can take and how to take them. Issues that we think are important right now, acting nationally, locally, and personal things you can do. In addition to our Action Center, which goes into great detail. I'm going to go over there. Yeah, we got my memory about pegged out here on this computer. This again has the actions that we got out there. It tells you how to make your voice count, how to track bills at the national level, how to track bills at your state level, how to get hold of your state legislators, how to find your U.S. Congress representative, how to find your senators, how to send email, how to call, write, what to write, what to say on the telephone, and a recap of all these resources and websites for tracking and identifying your Congress critters and such political animals. Resources. This has got a couple of PDF files that go into great length about bills in Congress, the House, bills concerning each of these matters here. For example, we may do other things in the future, and those need to be updated. We're looking at maybe doing a Hall of Fame. I really want to do a Hall of Shame. But one of our members is not fond of that idea. I think it may put political liabilities upon us. So you can go in here and find out things to do in some individual states where we've got a real active group in Arizona, Alabama. We've got board members in Wisconsin. We had a board member from New York, but he is no longer on the board. We've got a board member in Washington State. We've got board members in Arizona and around the country. So we're a growing organization. Let me stop this share. So if you want to join the Freedom Restoration Foundation, write us at info@freedomrestorationfoundation.org and put freedom in the subject line. If you want to join our Survival Tribe Network, put tribe in the subject line. Same email, info@freedomrestorationfoundation.org. I got a volunteer who's working at, and we'll be sending out a letter to people that's emailed us for freedom. We'll say. All right, so right now our society is not a monetary membership. We're trying to avoid money at the moment. Even though I'm paying for the operations society out of my own pocket, but we're trying to avoid the money side just to keep the IRS off our back. I don't know how long we run with that, but for now it works. So yeah, we also have a site on Facebook. You just go to Freedom Restoration Foundation on Facebook and on social media site called MeWe. Right, enough said of all that. Cuba. What's going to happen in Cuba? I'm expecting that the people are going to push and the Communist Party will crack. At least that's what I'm hoping. Let's hope and pray that freedom sees the day in Cuba. Let's hope they don't have a return to the days of Batista. Batista was politically corrupt. He got involved with the American mafia big time, and the casinos and gambling and prostitution going on in Havana and stuff like that. Yeah, the Cuban economy would boom. I mean, they would have a huge tourist industry if they become a free country again. Lots of Americans would go there. But let's hope it stays clean. Let's hope it never gets back there. And I don't think the Cuban people have the patience to let that happen again. I don't think they would, because they had this taste for that first time around. So hopefully they'll keep it going there. Anyway, I really wish everyone the best here. But this is a message of hope. I'm going to do another little video shortly about power grid, what it really means when the grid goes down. And this is important considering the international tensions right now are off the charts, and the sun is getting interestingly active. It's just fired. We had 3 major CMEs fired in 3 days in a row, going back a couple of days at the end of this. Fired from the opposite side, fortunately, far side away from us, from the sun. That's lucky. Had those things been directed at us, we might be in a world of hurt today. So I'm going to talk about what it really means. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have an awesome day.